Alrighty, and we're live. Let me go to the channel. Let me go to the live. Come in here. Let me go here. Alrighty, cool. Let me get back to this stuff, and then we're all good. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody hanging? Welcome, Jets Mess. I gotta fix some things. There it is. Now we go to the live control room. Pop out the chat. There we go. And then live chat. I have to change the properties here. And then let me test this out. There it is. Live chat's working. What's going on, guys? What is happening? Jets Mess, Trin the Great, J.E. No Beckton talk, please. We'll see where the chat takes us. Can't say anything like that. Tigo, I say 24-13 Jets. The over-under being 46 is really way too high for two teams with this good defense. I agree. I don't know where they got 46 from. Like the San Francisco 49ers, who are a very similar team in the sense of they have more offensive production and output. They had 21 points total. It's really hot, so I'm taking off my hoodie. I don't know why I have my headset on. I'm not listening to anybody. That score line made no sense to me, at all. I didn't get it. But like I said, I think 13-3, just because I don't think Denver's offense is going to get going on our defense, and I think that our offense is going to have a hard time against their defense. But I think ultimately we end up scoring more than they do. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, in my opinion. Just because they're really good defenses, and it's going to be dominated by really good pass rushes. But, yeah. Well, J.E., I hope we don't have a major meltdown. Don't underestimate the Broncos. I don't. Again, the Broncos aren't going to win. The Broncos aren't going to win because of their offense. The Broncos are going to win because of their defense. And I want to say the same thing about the New York Jets, right? Unfortunately, we've faced a lot of really good pass defenses early on this year. And so we haven't really given Zach the ability to air it out. And I don't want to see him air it out against Denver, right? It sucks because, while I want Zach to take over a game and throw for a bunch of yards and throw for a bunch of touchdowns, it's about being a realist, right? This isn't that game. Neither is the next game, and neither is the game after that. It's about having a smart game plan. And when the hot hand is the running game, you keep the hot hand going. So it's not about underestimating the Broncos. I think the Broncos are a serious team. And the worst part is that we're playing in Mile High. That makes it even worse because it's one of the hardest stadiums to travel and play to. But I think we should walk away with the win. I think we're the better overall team right now when it comes to performance that you're seeing out of the teams. Click the like, guys. Thank you, Daniel Faust. Always a good guy, man. Jets get 24 because of special teams and defense making scores. I hope so. This is one of those games where, I had a hard time with the whole, the defense getting scores. Because I want to say that this is going to be the first, somebody else puts it. Trin puts it, I think is the very next comment, is that Sauce gets a pick six. Gets his first pick six. And I believe that. But it's hard for me to say, it's hard for me to say that 100%, if that makes sense. I don't know. Run game will be crucial once again this week. Zach Wilson needs to take care of the ball, and we should be good with how the D-line is playing. Abso-freaking-lutely. We should run the ball a lot. I'm expecting 30 to 40 carries this game and another 15 to 20 throws this game. Man, it's hard for you to legitimately target Patrick Surtain. It's hard to throw the ball in his direction because it's just not a good idea. It's you shouldn't throw the ball in Sauce's direction because it's just not a good idea. Patrick Surtain is an incredibly good corner. He's insane. I love that kid. PS2 was great. Is great. Run heavy and use play action down the field and screen passes due to running back tight end. To running back / tight end. I'd love to see a lot of wide receiver screens, like from under center. That'd be really nice to see as well, just so that we can get the ball out really quickly, from like a bunch set or something like that. And I just want to see a lot of gadget plays, you know what I mean? I want to see Mike LaFleur really find a way to get the pass game. I don't want to say going because I don't want to throw the ball like 25, 30 times this game. But I do want to see us at least have some success through the air, right? With the play action, with, some like jet sweep kind of things and short crossing routes. And we've got really fast receivers. And I said this in my video that the whole goal should be, let's just get our receivers the ball quickly and early. We've got playmakers. They'll get open. They'll make the moves. They'll do the things that they need to get the ball down the field. So we don't have to worry about that. So that's my thing is let's just get the balls in our playmakers' hands quickly and effectively, and let's try to eliminate the opportunity that some of these corners will have with their with their just ability. If we don't give them the time to diagnose the play, analyze the play, they won't be able to make plays. That's just really it. Oh, missed one. Hit the like up. Thank you, J.E. Danny Jets, pick six would be great. I agree, man. A pick six would be awesome. Just truthfully and honestly, awesome. I love it. But how is everybody doing this fine evening? Is anybody concerned? Is anybody worried? What is everybody's thoughts going into this next game? I'm gonna go full Jets forever. Mims 1 TD, 115 yards passing, 15 rushing. Dude, I don't know if anyone breaks. I don't know if anyone breaks 115 passing yards. I get it. I want Mims to have a good game, but like I said before, I think Mims having a good game shouldn't necessarily be the goal if we want him to be on this football team long term. I think the real thing that he has to have is he has to have a productive special teams contribution. And that's what I want to see from him so that he can have more opportunities to have 1 TD, 115 yards, and 15 rushing. Over-under is now 37.5 at Tipico. Okay. Again, still pretty high. Right? Where's my phone? There's my phone. I'm bad at math. Nope, that's a translator. I'm new to iPhone, guys, so I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. 37.5 divided by 2. That's each team. That's one team scoring 19 and the other team scoring 18. It's not good. That's a lot of points with defenses that don't let up points. Well, the Jets did early on, but that's not our defense now. I don't know. That sounds great, but then Jets Forever will be even more insufferable. We'll never hear the end of it. Look, I love Jets Forever. I don't think he's a fan of mine. I'll be honest here, but I love him. He is, you got to have the insufferable Jets fan, right? Like, it's good to know that Jets Forever exists because he'll be insufferable and saying that the Jets are going to go 17-0. He doesn't look at the roster. He doesn't care. As long as you're a Jet, you're on the best team on the planet for him. And like, I know that that's just not realistic or whatever, but like every fan base, every team has to have that kind of fan. And it's nice to be able to like, hey, at least we got one guy who's super optimistic. You know what I mean? Trin the Great, I am more concerned playing the backup than Russell Wilson. LMFAO Wilson is Garbo, and the next man up at least has the chance against us. I'll say this. I am not super concerned with Brett as much as I was with Russ. Because Brett has a very clear ceiling. He's not a good NFL wide receiver. He's not a good NFL quarterback, right? And the last time he played us was against a horrible defense. And yes, they won, but he also threw 3 interceptions. This is a much better defense, a much better pass rush. It's a much better team overall. And that team's offensive line isn't working. Those wide receivers I don't think are going to be able to get open against our corners. And now, like, you always have to, if we were playing Russ, you would have to take into consideration the potential that Russ remembers how to play quarterback. You know what I mean? And if that happened against the Jets, that would really suck. So I'm happy that it's Brett Rippin or Ripon or whatever, however you pronounce his name. Mims is not going to get more time than Jeff Smith, unfortunately. See, I don't agree with that. I think Mims will get more snaps than Smith. I don't think Jeff Smith is going to get more offensive snaps. I don't think that's going to happen. Jeff Smith, like I said on Jeremy's channel on Jets Chaos, Jeff Smith is on the roster not because he's a better wide receiver than Denzel Mims or because his coaching staff likes him more than Denzel. It's because Brant Boyer gets the fifth wide receiver say. With Denzel Mims, like, he's gonna get his opportunities. He's gonna get his chances. He's gonna get his stuff to go and get going. And I think that's the way that it's gonna be. I don't think Jeff Smith. I'd be surprised, and I'll come back and I'll eat crow if he does get more opportunities and gets more time. If Jeff Smith gets more time than Denzel Mims, I just don't see it happening. Denzel Mims does everything that Jeff Smith does at a better level, just not the special team stuff. With how great the run game is right now, maybe there will be a few nice 30-plus bombs on that one corner who had 4 PIs last week. Yeah, maybe. Again, man, I'm never going to count out Denver's defense. But you make a great point. They were facing a pretty good wide receiver room against the Chargers, and they did have a couple of pass interference calls. I just don't want to throw as many times as the Chargers did. The Chargers let it rip that game. Like, it was a problem with how much they threw. Like, it wasn't working. And the worst part is like, they have a good run game in LA. Dude, Justin Herbert threw the ball 57 times. What? They only ran the ball with Austin Eckler 14 times. And Sony Michel 8. They ran the ball 22 times. And they had him throw the ball 57 times. That's absolutely ridiculous. That makes no sense. At all. What? Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Wow. I don't know. I'm a Chargers guy. I like the Chargers. They're not Super Bowl contenders, but I think they're a playoff team. They're a playoff team. I like the Chargers. I think the Chargers. I don't know about that. I think the Chargers are a much better team than the Broncos. That's just me, though. But I'm high because I really, really, really like Justin Herbert. I had Justin Herbert coming out of that draft as my number 1 quarterback, and I want to be vindicated right. And every time the Chargers do better than the Broncos than the Bengals, I always see, I told you. And so I kind of have an unfair bias towards the Chargers. So you got to take everything I say about the Chargers with a grain of salt. But yeah, it's interesting though. This Broncos game has trap game or has whatever written all over it, man. This is a game where this is where your team, your young guys, need to show up and prove that they're either trending in the right direction and showing that they're going to be veterans-ish, or they're going to come out and prove that they're, not veterans, that they're the, what's the word? This is going to prove whether we're legitimately a young team or whether we're a fake young team, And that's what I am looking at and expecting from this team. So, yeah. Okay, can someone explain to me what trap game means? I keep hearing it everywhere, but I can never find what that means anywhere. Okay, Trin, this is what it means, right? So, it's what the Pittsburgh Steelers have been doing for years. You know how they've been doing it for so long that they don't even call them trap games anymore? They literally just call them the Pittsburgh Steelers playing down to their opponents. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers will go on one week right? Back in the day during the Tom Brady era, and beats the Patriots, like in a really close game. And then the next week play Jacksonville, who hasn't been good forever, and then lose to Jacksonville by 20, right? And so what a trap game means is like a game that you should win, that you go in expecting to be competitive, that you should win, that you should do all of those things, but you end up, because you're so high on your own team, like you're so high on your own, like, you know, we've won 4 of 5. We're 4-2. We're on a 3-game win streak. There is a good possibility, I'm going to knock on all of the wood, that this team might be feeling themselves a little bit. It is up to the coaching staff and the veterans of this football team to say, hey, winning don't mean crap. Winning consistently matters, and we got to keep doing it. And so that's what it means by a trap game. Because I think going into this game, the New York Jets should win. But if you go in, I'm just saying there's a lot of things that say and lead to the idea that maybe the New York Jets should win this game. And so, yeah. Danny, I don't think it necessarily is a trap game per se. Coaching matters, and 10 out of 10 times I'll pick current Saleh over Hackett over this for this week's matchup. We've been making halftime adjustments, and Denver hasn't. I agree, but that's why I think it's a trap game, right? Because at almost every level of this team, we're better. The only place that we're not better is on defense, and we're not that far, right? It's not like it's the number 1 defense versus the number 32 defense, right? This is not last year's defense. The way that this is pairing out to be is it's like the number 5 defense versus the number 9 defense, which is what I would probably assume the Jets and the Denver are in terms of like total yards allowed per game. I think Denver is 5th and the New York Jets are 9th. So like that's where I look at it and I go, we're really close there. Offensively, while we're better offensively, their defense kind of counteracts our offense. Offensively, they're not going. So our defense should definitely win that matchup. And then we're better on special teams. We're better at the coaching staff and coaching at every level. And we're playing all of our starters where they're playing a backup quarterback. So that's where I look at it, where it's like, it's not necessarily a trap game, but it's kind of a trap game. The real trap game would be like the Detroit Lions, right? If we went undefeated up to the Lions and then we lost to the Lions, that's the trap game, right? Or like the Lions and the Bears. But I don't know. Trin, I think Saleh is too charactered of a guy to let anybody in this locker room get too high on their own farts. I mean, he even said, you get to celebrate this game till Monday at noon after winning at Green Bay. No, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying is it's like, it's hard to get that message across to young players, right? Like, even with him saying it, you can still get too high on your own drama, I guess is the word that I'm going to use there, and be like, oh my God, we're so freaking good. Like, it's a double-edged sword. This New York Jets, these youngsters on these New York Jets team doesn't know what it means to be a New York Jet historically. So that's great because they can redefine what it means to be a New York Jet. But that also means that they don't know what they don't know. And it's like, again, it's a double-edged sword. This isn't college. You know, wins aren't easy to come by in this league at all, and we've got to make sure that we work at every game. And that's where I believe in this franchise, is because I believe in Robert Saleh to do those things. And I think that I think we got a great one at coach. That's just me personally. I like what we have at coach, and I believe in what we've got at coach. Whew. Let me take a breath, guys. Get your comments in. Love this. 18 people in here. This is awesome. Appreciate everybody who came from the NFL Chaos and hit the subscribe button. Really, really happy. This stream has taken me over the 1,800 mark on subscribers. I have been stuck at 1,790 for like 2 weeks now, and it's been incredibly frustrating. And that I kind of talked about it on the Jets Chaos channel, where it was really humbling because it's just like I started getting lazy with the content. But guys, a lot of really, really cool. I'm not kidding when I talk about like, this is all stuff that's coming to the channel. All like, oh, it's hard to see with the light, but let me kind of try to get close here. It is all stuff, all these notebooks that I have Well, this one's empty. I just got this. I just pulled this one out. All right here. Boom. Schedules, and I'm gonna schedules and writings and all this different and all this stuff is all coming to. There's some math homework in there because I went back to school. All this stuff is coming to the channel. It's a lot of really, really cool and exciting content. Really trying to take this thing like seriously and making more content more regularly. And it's not. While we're still going to be Jets focused, we're also going to be adding some cool NFL based things because I think that there are 32 teams and there are 32 teams doing pretty interesting things. And I want to be able to talk about, Dan Snyder and the commies when that happens. And week 11 is coming by and I want to talk about Deshaun Watson and him getting happy endings and how does that look when he gets back? Like those are conversations that I want to have. So while we're still going to be like 98% Jet stuff, we're adding some NFL stuff too. So I'm really excited about that. Adding some new conversations, some new topics, new shows. That's what I'm really, really excited about. I'm creating graphics and I'm working with a guy and we're doing things, man. I'm really excited about the future and the trajectory of this channel. And I'm trying to find a day so that I can do more regularly, live streams so that I can start offering some of those things that other people have, like the membership groups and different things like that. I'm working on developing and producing my own podcast, kind of like what Green Bean does, like 45 minutes to an hour straight, just Tigo, no live chat, no nothing, creating the notes and the stuff for that, doing that weekly. So a lot of really cool things. I'm really, really excited about it. Me and my wife are working on a couple of art projects that we're going to put up here in this white space so you can see some Jet stuff back there. Some cool stuff coming, guys. Exciting times for the channel. Whew. But it's going to be an interesting game. I'm really, really interested to see. I want to see Dwayne Brown. I was talking about this. I think Dwayne Brown versus Bradley Chubb is going to be an interesting matchup because this is going to be the first test for Dwayne Brown's shoulder. Because Chubb is strong and fast and powerful in the pass rush. And we all know that Dwayne Brown is sacrificing and playing and doing all of those things with a rotator cuff injury. And, that's a serious thing that's a serious injury to play through. So I'm really interested to see what does that look like for him, And, yeah, I'm really interested and really excited for that. Come on, guys. There's 19 people in here. Nobody has a question. Nobody has a comment. I didn't prepare for the show, so I don't have talking points or anything. I need your help. Help me. What are we talking about? Zach Wilson, 18 of 25 for 235 yards, no interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 1 from a Philly special. So it's 1 throwing touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown? Is it what I'm assuming that's saying? It's not bad. That's not bad. 18 of 25. That's a pretty good day. Going over 235 yards. Now that's a bit, that's a bit much. That's a 72% completion percentage. That'd be his best completion percentage this year. I'm getting it. I get it. I see what you're saying. I predict the call out. Trin, yes, that's answering my question. Cool. We need to put our tight ends in there to help Dwayne out. While I agree with you, yes, we are. Just because Bradley Chubb is that good, I do want to see Bradley Chubb and Dwayne Brown one-on-one at least a couple of times, personally. Just because of, I want to see his shoulder, man. How does it hold up against a guy that's that strong and that fast? So, how would you use our team to blindside Denver? A lot of under center, if I'm being honest. I would play a majority of this game under center so that we can, one, take advantage of the run game a little bit more because the running backs actually get some time to get into motion and they're not, being handed the ball from a standstill. That's what I would like to see. a little bit more from this team, but also because the play action pass is so much more effective from under center. And so if we play a lot of under center, I would like to see that. I would also like to see, Danny alluded to it a little bit more, but I would also like to see those designed Zach escapes and runs off to the right a little bit more. And you see like a couple of guys highlighting and moving him to the right. I like those plays because if we can get the ball to a wide receiver who gets open, or more importantly, a tight end who gets open against a linebacker, they tend to be able to cut upfield and fall an extra 2 or 3 yards forward. And so those are nice, good, short gains. But ultimately, it would be, if it was my game plan, and I don't know anything about offense at that high of a level, the way that I would do it is I would do a lot of under center stuff. And I know that Zach's not super comfortable under center, but I would have really worked on it this week so that we can really take advantage of the run game and the play action game against Denver's elite pass defense. Mims is going to break out. I hope so. Man. Brees is going for another Rookie of the Week. I would like for Sauce to get this Rookie of the Week, if I'm being honest. Here's in my mind how it works, right? Brees is probably going to go for another Rookie of the Week, but in my mind, this is how the next couple of weeks are going to go, right? In my mind's eye, we're going to go. Sauce is going to get 2 interceptions, one of them being a pick six. And like he's going to get like 2 pass breakups, right? Boom. That's it. He's going to get targeted 4 times. He's going to break up the pass twice, a pick six and an interception. Rookie of the Week, right? Because that's an excellent performance. So he wins next week. So Sauce and Brees both get their Rookie of the Week awards. Then, here's what happens. Then we play New England. And I'm just putting this out there into the world. And you guys let me know what you think, right? That's JJ's game where he's back. This is when JJ gets his Rookie of the Week. He gets 4 sacks on Mac Jones and or Bailey Zapp, a forced fumble, and a pass deflected because he puts his arms up, right? Insane from his game back. He wins Rookie of the Week, and then we go to Buffalo, and Garrett Wilson puts up 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's what I would, and then we win Rookie of the Week again. It's just Gotham Green all over Rookie of the Week because no one can do it. That's it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I believe is going to happen. Boom. Bubble screens will stop Chubb from over pursuing. Yeah, so will the run game. Like, there's a lot of things that we can do to really stop Bradley Chubb from just being able to power rush. Leger was saying this in his Twitter space that he had earlier today, and I really liked what he said, which is like the thing that a lot of regular fans don't understand, and a lot of regular fans don't, is that as a defensive end, you have to earn the right to pass rush. And I hope we don't give Denver the right to pass rush. I hope that they have to set the edge because, they're like after 150 yards from Brees Hall, they stop pass rushing and then we get the pass game going. That's all I'm saying. I want to see Zach Wilson run a bit more, put the pocket when it collapses, pick up your cheeky 3 to 4 yards and get out of bounds. Yeah. I do want to see. I want to see a little more of like the designed Zach Wilson runs as well. Like in short, like in the red zone, short yardage, those kinds of things. Zach Wilson's an athlete, and he can really go. And our wide receivers are scary enough to where he can break away and get those 4 or 5. Like you said, perfect. Like I think you said it perfectly. Those cheeky 4 or 5 yards from that situation. I agree. Bruce Davis, stop playing. We are not losing anymore. If we do, it will not be to Denver. I agree, man. That's why I don't have the Jets losing to Denver. I think the New York Jets win. I think the first game on our schedule that can be a loss from this point on is Buffalo. That's it. I don't look at New England scary. I don't look at Denver as I will say I am scared of Buffalo, and that's just because I think Buffalo right now is the best team in the NFL. And I hate having to say that. Trust. I don't like that. I just said those words. Sauce first pick six for realsies this game. Man got robbed. Look, I'm with you. Even though that was the right call, it did hit the ground first, he got robbed. Can we upset Josh Allen with our depth? The thing that's going to dictate whether or not we win the first game against Buffalo is going to be their secondary health. You know, right now their defense is incredibly hurt, and they are not healthy on defense at all. If they get healthy, it's going to be hard to play against Buffalo. Because one, it's really hard to stop Buffalo. Even with all of the talent on our defense, it's really hard to stop Buffalo, but it's also really hard to score on Buffalo when they're fully healthy. When they're fully healthy, they are the best defense in the NFL. But they're not healthy, and that's the point. If they're not healthy, we'll have a real shot, because I'll take Garrett Wilson versus Kyer Elam any day of the week, and I liked Kyer Elam a lot. So that's it. Put AJ on Chubbs. That's a good one. I think one of the problems with Moore, he sees the rookies getting all these accolades, and he's just envious. Absolutely, man. It's a problem. It's a problem when the conversation going into this year always revolved around you and these rookies. And as the year has gone on, you got dropped off of it, right? Because more and more, when people would talk about the Jets, the guys would say, hey, they got a lot of really good pieces in New York. They got first-year players like Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. They got second-year players like Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore. And that's what the conversation started as. But now, the conversation now becomes, now that we're winning, is like they're winning off of the back of their young talents. Guys like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker. What names do you not... Sauce Gardner. So what name got dropped? Elijah. And that gets to you, especially when it's your livelihood, man. And so it's frustrating. I understand where he's coming from. The thing that I don't understand is how are these choices and these actions the right ones? It just doesn't make sense. Trent, let Zach catch some balls too for those designed runs. Toss it to Berrios, who tosses it back, first down. Yeah, I like the Statue of Liberty, not Statue of Liberties, the hook and ladders and different things like that. We can get creative in the passing game to get yardage in the passing game. Like it's just Mike LaFleur is one of the more creative offensive coordinators in the league. And he's got what I think is happening is he's not being super creative because he doesn't need to be. The run game is working. We're leading games. We haven't trailed in a game for 8.5 quarters. We haven't trailed in a game. So he hasn't needed to pull out any of those things. And I'm with Mike LaFleur in the thought process of if we're going to go to the playoffs, which I think that we can, if we're going to go to the playoffs, I don't want tape on my hook and ladder. I don't want tape on my, Braxton Berrios throwing the ball. I don't want that on tape because I want to be able to pull that out in the playoffs to get me those extra 15 yards that I need or to get that touchdown. We have tape of us running the Philly special. So it's fine. And the Philly special works. You don't need to care about the tape or not the tape. So it's just one of those things where it's just like, hey, let's keep that stuff close to the chest as long as we can, because a game against Buffalo is going to be hard fought and challenging, and that's where you're going to need to pull out all the stops. A game against Minnesota, if they continue to stay hot, that's where you need to pull out all the stops. So those are the games that I'm like, that's what I'm hoping happens. Buffalo will be the greatest challenge for us. If we play competitive and competent football versus the Bills, then we are for real, no doubt. It's not the same old Jets at that point. Yeah, I think Danny said it perfectly. And I think that there's a difference here, because people are going to correlate these two things. We can be competent and still lose, right? Those are not synonymous. Competent and winning are not synonymous. We can play competent football and still lose that game. Whether or not anybody wants to believe it or admit to it, Buffalo right now their team is further along than the New York Jets. In an ideal world, we would split with Buffalo. We would win the home game and we would lose the away game. That's the ideal world. Where the more realistic is that we lose both games. Where, in like my opinion, going into this season, I said we should sweep New England, we're the better team, and we should sweep Miami, we're the better team. Now, the only reason I think we don't sweep Miami this year is because we play them week 18, and I think that we rest all of our guys because we're going to be going to the playoffs. We would have solidified our playoff chances at that point, and we're just going to be playing freaking Chris Streveler out there. So, that's my take. Elijah Moore can play placeholder for Greg the Leg. Wait, Greg hasn't done bad. Come on, I like Greg. Thoughts on Elijah Moore getting caught with a burner account? So from what I've heard, it's actually an assistant to his agent because he's technically, it's against Twitter rules for him to have all that stuff. But that's, I watched the Green Bean video breaking it down. And that's absolutely insane, man. If that's true and that was his camp and he's doing that, it's just crazy, man, that he's doing stuff like that. Danny, you had EM get forced. You had Elijah Moore get force fed at Ole Miss and produced as a kid, 18 to 19-year-old. Has a pretty decent rookie season and thinks that everything he to run through him. Never had a mentor to teach him better. That's what I was saying, Danny. I don't know if you were in the Jets Chaos channel, but like for a lot of these guys and why these guys become divas, specifically like wide receivers and running backs, these skill position guys, is because one, these players are the guys that are getting the touchdowns, right? And for most of their careers, even in college, they are by far and away the best players on their football teams. Like by far and away. And when they get to the NFL, they're nothing. And it's hard to come to the realization. Like that's why I think like Denzel Mims like had a little bit of that issue. And again, I'm not trying to compare the two situations. Denzel Mims is a completely different situation. But like Denzel Mims is probably a great example of this, of like he was probably the best wide receiver and the best player at his high school. I'm pretty sure he was the best player at Baylor. And then he comes to the New York Jets, and not only is he not the best player on the New York Jets, he wasn't the best receiver on the New York Jets. So it's a situation that that every one of those players needs to get into. The adults, Elijah Vera Tucker, they adapt, and they come to that realization, and they work and they strive to be the best player. Michael Carter, he's no longer the bell cow, but he's adapted. He's still getting his touches. He's still getting touchdowns. So that's how I look at it. I hope Damari Mathis is on Mims tomorrow. I hope Damari... Dude, I don't care who... I would throw the ball at Damari Mathis all game tomorrow. If I'm throwing the ball, I would never throw it to PS2. I would throw it to Damari Mathis. Just because I think all of our wide receivers are better than Damari Mathis. Our use their aggressiveness against him screens, reverse misdirections, get their eyes looking one way and go the other. Yes, one of my favorite plays that we do, man, I lost my train of thought. My favorite play that we do is when we send the wide receiver in motion across, pulling either the cornerback or the linebacker, and then we run the opposite direction. It is by far and away one of my favorite plays. Honestly, it's one of my favorite. JW, thank you for stopping by, my good sir. Zach hands to Brees. Brees tosses it to Mims. Mims throws it to Zach for a touchdown. I love it. Can we do... Oh, okay. Ready? We're going to do a flea flicker with a jet sweep. That's how we're going to do it, right? We're going to hand it to Brees while Denzel Mims is in motion. Zach is going to sprint to the corner. Mims is going to get the toss back from Brees Hall in motion, running right, and he's going to throw it to Zach Wilson. That's the play. That's it. That's the play. That's the one to do it. I love it. Trin, the way I look at it, even keeping in step with the Bills is a win, even if we don't actually win the game. Obviously, we want to beat them once minimum, but they really are the best team in football right now. Yeah, dude. Like I said, if we walk away Like, if the game ends and it's like 30 to like 15, I'd be happy. Honestly, as long as it looked competitive, right? Like, if the game goes like, if we lose by 10 points, losing by 10 is my maximum. It's 30 to 20. I'm cool with it. I want to win that game. I really do. But if we lose that game, I'm not going to be that upset because the Bills are that good. 0 to 100, our chances of winning in Denver. I would say I'm at a solid high 60s because I don't think any game in the NFL should go past the 60s, past the 70s. I'm sorry. I think the NFL has enough parity that you can legitimately look at it and go say, you know what? Every game should have enough penalties that it should at least be over a 70-30. So 68% chance is what I'm saying. 68. Danny, do you think we replace Mike White with Streveler? He's much more of a Zach Wilson-esque player compared to White. No, I think if any of the quarterbacks are going to get replaced or moved, it ultimately will end up being Joe Flacco. He's 37 years old, and I would move him. He has starting experience this year. He won a game this year and led a pretty good drive. If you're going to trade anybody away, it's going to be Joe Flacco. But I would not give Streveler reps at the NFL level unless it's Week 18 and we're resting our players. Streveler is not a Zach Wilson type esque player. The only thing that Streveler does like Wilson is his mobility, and that's it. And that's not like, I'm not trying to say that you're comparing those two guys. I know you're not, Danny, but I really didn't like the Streveler stuff. We've seen what Streveler looks like at the NFL level when he played with Arizona. Didn't look good. We know what Streveler is. He's a one read and run guy. He stares down one wide receiver. If that wide receiver isn't open, he's tucking the ball under and running. And while that's a great scheme for the CFL and the NFL preseason and college, there's a lot of college systems that play one read and run football. But that doesn't work at the NFL at a high level. And so I like Streveler as a great story, but one of the things that I would like the New York Jets to do this offseason is really go out and invest money in a solid backup. And I'm not talking about like an aging veteran. I mean legitimately a backup. Like a great example would be like if Cooper Rush made it, if he became free, you know what I mean? Like that's a guy that I would give 3 years to be on this New York Jets team because that's what I want, you know, for Zach. I want a solid backup. Like, I'm trying to think here. Someone who isn't insanely old, you know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. I would like someone who's in his, like, late 20s, 30s to come in and be that guy. Like, you know who would be a great guy to bring in? He's a free agent at the end of this year. Taylor Heineke. That's a guy that I look at, and you know what? He's been in the NFL long enough. He's going to be 30 when we sign him. He's never really going to compete for a starting job, so we're never going to have a quarterback controversy, and he can be a good person. That's a guy that I look at and I go, I love it. That's a great Cooper Rush. He's a free agent. Go bring in Cooper Rush. I like Huntley, but I think Huntley's going to be starting for Baltimore next year because I don't think they signed Lamar. So those are the kinds. Jarrett Stidham, like I would bring. Those are the kinds of guys that I want to bring in. Guys that are good locker room guys. Guys that can help Zach in the meetings and be a good, like have the headset on the sideline and not be a me guy, but also who's better than Mike White. And I don't think that that's very hard, is to be better than Mike White. So if it was me, that's who I'm looking at because that's something serious that I want to do this offseason. And I'm being serious about it. At Trin the Great, any given Sunday, I'm hoping to sweep Buffalo, even if they're great, which they are. I love it. I love it, Jay. Freaking have it. Oh, what I meant by the Greg the Leg comment, I mean the dude who holds... Oh, the holder. That's literally what it's called. It's just a holder. He should be the holder for Greg. Got it. Invite Jake Assman on your show. He's humble. He will come. I thought about this. But the problem with Jake is that, so I have my son. I'm a stay-at-home dad. So I have my son during the days. And that's when Jake goes live, is during the days. And then when I have the opportunity to go live is in the evening when my wife gets here and she can take control and more and have more opportunity with my son. And that's the problem, is that by that time he's doing his radio show. Fun fact, I'll plug Jake Assman. If you didn't know this, Jake Assman streams, or his channel, the ESPN channel that he works for, they stream their radio show on Twitch. I've actually listened to it. It's pretty interesting. So, yeah. Hoop history. I do find it weird that Elijah is often running long developing routes, but when Jeff Smith comes in to replace him, he is running outs or other short routes where he is one of the first reads. I think there's a couple of things to that. First off, I don't trust Jeff Smith on those deep, long balls, right? Because I don't think Elijah Moore is necessarily being used as a decoy 100% of the time. Elijah Moore is legitimately a deep threat. The problem is that Elijah Moore as the deep threat is the last read. And the problem is this offensive line yet hasn't protected him enough to get him to that last read. So we don't get to Elijah Moore, because by the time Elijah Moore is open, we're at like about 2.5 seconds. And by that point, the pocket has collapsed and we're in scramble drill. And so that's the problem. And with Jeff Smith, you have to do short in routes, out routes, cut routes, all those things, because that's all that he can do. I don't trust him to run a route effectively. J.E. made a comment here. I think he deleted it. Yes, he did. But J.E. made a great point here where he was talking about Elijah Moore causing the Pittsburgh Steelers interception for Zach. And while, like, I would give like 30-ish% of the interception, that interception to Elijah Moore, because he got really lazy at the end of his route, giving the cornerback the ability to look back upfield because he knew that Elijah wasn't getting the ball. But also, in the other thing, Jeff Smith ran the wrong route. He was short, like 6-7 yards. He should have been in the end zone for that ball. So while it looks like Zach overthrew that ball, if you look up, we've ran that play last year, and we ran that play earlier in the year this year. If you look at that route being run, I believe the play was Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson were doing that route. What happens is that wide receiver, the Jeff Smith wide receiver, is supposed to be like 10 yards up the field. And so that's why that interception is both of their fault, because Elijah gave up on the route, but also Jeff Smith ran the route wrong. He ran it too shallow. And we had a big problem with that last year where wide receivers were running their routes way too shallow. So Zach had no one to throw to because there was 3 guys covering 2 guys. And that's just bad ball placement. Asman, not Asman. Yeah, I got who you're talking about. Asman has a lot of guests on his shows that are up and coming. Man, I'd love to talk with Jake. Like, I would love to have the opportunity to get on with Jake, and Jake is a great guy. I love his passion. I was actually on Jake's live stream once, just as he does like the call-ins, and you can take people on, and that was awesome. But it's just about timing. That's really it. It's all about timing. Sergeant Mike! I love Sergeant Mike. He's an OG of the channel. He comments on every video, and I appreciate the crap out of you, Sergeant Mike. And I'm glad that you're here so that I can say that. I'm really glad that you're here. Please, no motion penalties for Mims. Can we just use Mims without putting him in motion, especially on his first week back? Look, I get it, but a man can dream. I always like Hundley from Baltimore as a backup, not saying for the Jets, but Hundley as a backup in general. No, I get it. Weed the People 732, welcome to the channel, good sir. Haven't seen your name around before. We open pretty much every game with a run up the middle. I think we should open with a play action pass down the field for a long. I've been saying I wanted to do that week 1. I was saying that it would be great if we did a play action pass from under center up the middle to Garrett Wilson or whoever PS2's not on, to that person down the field. That would be great. Honestly, I would love it. Elijah Moore caused Zach Wilson that interception in Pittsburgh. If he went straight all out, it's a completion to 16. Yeah, I get it, man. Agreed, Weed. Or better yet, just throw a bomb to Mims because they don't have much tape to even analyze on him, let alone that play. Dude, and he's got the speed. He ran a 4.39 at the combine. He's fast, guys. Absolutely, J.E. Jake's awesome. I think I was his first ever video call when he started doing it. Uses useless flex all day. I love it. I love it. We have no idea. Nothing yet. Rich Cimini, he projected that Ruckert gets sat for this game. And unfortunately, I think he's a little bit right with that. But does anybody know what happened to Ruckert? Like, what's going on? Is he still hurt? Is it lingering? Because I'd love to see more of Ruckert, man. I'd love to see more of Ruckert. I said Zach may be old school with a baby face and has not looked for Elijah that much after he caused that interception. That's what I would do as a QB until a replacement gets a chance. But that's what's happening is that like he's not looking at Elijah's way, right? Like if you look at the targets during the scripted plays, Elijah's getting targeted just as much as Corey Davis and Garrett Wilson, and he's just not throwing the ball that much. Guys, no one got targeted. Like, I don't understand the Elijah Moore thing. No one, he threw the ball 18 times. 18 times. We just didn't throw the ball enough. That's it. It's crazy to me. Wonder if we win this game and whenever Fant or Mitchell come back, if we will change up the line again and put AVT back at guard or just keep rolling with it. I think they like Fant too much to sit him. Okay. Hope history. I haven't seen you in the channel recently, or really ever. So let me give you a quick rundown on my opinions on the two guys that you just mentioned. Okay. If this is where like the normal level of liking a New York Jet player is, right? My love for Max Mitchell is all the way up here. And my love for George Fant is right about here. Right? I am the biggest Max Mitchell guy. Now let me give you some history here. Hoop. I wanted Max Mitchell before the draft. I talked about it. I said Max Mitchell should be the tackle that we target in the 4th or the 5th round. I really like this kid out of Louisiana. I think he can be a potential swing tackle for this team for a long time. And then the Jets took him. So I immediately became his biggest fan. So loved the guy. And Hoop, I'm going to come back to this comment. The fact that, dude, you found your home, man. Hit the sub button if you haven't already. I love Max. But to go back to answer your question, it all depends, and this is truthfully and honestly, it all depends on how Herbig is playing. If Herbig is playing not as good as what Max or Fant would play at right tackle, like that's the real thing, right? Who's better, Herbig or Max? Because if Max is playing better at tackle than Herbig is playing at guard, we know that Elijah Vera Tucker is an all-pro right guard. So you move Max to tackle, you move Elijah to guard, done. But if Herbig is playing well and Elijah's playing well, you don't fix something that isn't broke. So the question is Herbig working? If Herbig is working and continues to work, you keep it the same until the end of the season, then Max comes back, or if there's an injury at that point. But that's that. And I don't think this team actually likes Fant that much, to be honest. If we did, we would have extended him, and we didn't, and we're not going to. Right? Like, that's honestly my opinion on it. I don't like Fant, and I don't think that this organization is likes him so much that they're going to mess with the offensive line just for Fant. I think, unfortunately for Fant, Fant's going to ride the bench for the rest of the... He lost his job with his injury because Max played better than Fant did on the right side, and Brown played better than Fant did is playing better than Fant did on the left side this year. And so if it's me, I'm waiting for Max to get healthy because I'm putting Max on the right side. So that's me. Danny, the Zach Wilson slander is annoying when they say he isn't putting up those great QB stats when Brees fell at the 1 yard line twice. Dude, it's not just that. There's 4 catches. I looked it up. There's 4. It's 2 Bryce Halls, 1 Garrett Wilson, and I believe 1 Braxton Berrios passes where they stop at the half-yard line. Zach Wilson so easily could have 5 touchdowns and no interceptions because that Jeff Smith interception, if Jeff Smith runs the right route and Elijah Moore goes 100%, that's a touchdown to Jeff Smith. He could so easily be 6-0 as he is 1-2 in touchdowns to interception. It's absolutely absurd when guys just look at the box score and be like, oh, this is what matters. Ruckert is having problems with the playbook. Oh, no. Okay. Hey, he was a developmental tight end. Give him time to develop. I want him to be good more than anything. I love him. Just think this team likes Fant. I think they like Fant too. I don't think that they. I guess what I said. I don't like Fant, and I don't want him playing because I don't see him on this team past this year. So you play him, you keep him as a backup because he's a great backup, and then you let him walk, and then he tries to convince another NFL team to pay him $15 million because it's not happening in New York. Hit the like button, y'all. It's 1:17 a.m. on the East Coast, and we still live. Thank you, Danny. Oh, now that you mentioned it, guys, we got 4 more minutes. I'm ending the stream in an hour because I got to go to bed. Got a long Sunday ahead of us, but I'm going to go to bed. Saw you on Jets Chaos before and found my way over here, lol. Thank you, Weed. Appreciate it, my guy. Thanks for stopping by. I love hanging out with those guys, but I got to start doing more solo stuff or doing more live streams here to get you guys over here. Elijah Moore's attitude is so toxic, it put a curse on the Yankees' bats. Yanks will hit after Mims gets a TD to kill the curse. I love it. I'm a Mets fan, so he never gets a TD then. What's your favorite sandwich at Subway? I'm on the phone with a manager in my town talking about a trade for Elijah Moore. My favorite Subway sandwich is the meatball sub, and that's it. That's all I get. I'm not like a ham and cheese kind of guy or like a bunch of meats kind of guy. If I go to a sub place, it's because they have a good meatball sub or they don't. I just realized how New York of me that was. But yeah, like I'm not like a pastrami sandwich kind of guy or I'm really simple. I want ham and cheese or I want a meatball sub, and those are the only things that I'm eating that has bread on it, really. Or like garlic bread, that's different. Sandwiches, it's ham and cheese, and that's it. Or meatball. I'd assume Mims is coming in with a chip on his shoulder, bigger opportunity, hope he really balls out. I do too, man. I do too. Like, it'd be nice to see Mims produce well because, one, his trade value goes up. And so in the case that we have to trade Mims or whatever, like the realistic situation here is I don't think Mims and Moore are both on this team November 1st or November 2nd. I think it's one or the other. And if we decide to run with Elijah Moore, I get it. I think he has the higher upside. At that point, I would free Mims. I would send him to a team where he can actually contribute, because I want to see Mims playing in the NFL. I think he's that good. If Moore decides that he's going to go scorched earth and burn everything, I would convince Chicago to give me a second-round pick for Moore, and he can go he can go be productive and lose in Chicago versus not being productive and win in New York. That would be my thing. Honestly, I would love to send him to Carolina. If Elijah Moore wants out so badly, so badly, I would send him to Carolina. You send him to a small market that doesn't matter and doesn't get national attention, and no one's going to care that he's getting 100 yards because you're in Carolina. DJ Moore has been being one of the better wide receivers in the NFL for years, and no one gives him the respect that he deserves. So that's again, I hope that he hasn't burned those bridges and that Elijah can come back and that he'll eat crow and that he'll apologize. He'll take his boos like a champ because he's going to get booed by this fan base when he plays at home, and that he earns the right to wear Gotham green again. That's what I hope. But if it's not going to happen, I don't know. We'll see. By the way, Pats podcasters all expect to have their typical blowout of the Jets. Can't wait till next week. Man, the Pats are so, they think they found the new Tom Brady and Bailey Zapp. Come on. I would keep Dwayne Brown and let Fant go. Dwayne is playing great on the left side. Well, that's the expectation. Dwayne is signed till next year, even if he does have to get shoulder surgery, right? Because he does, remember, he's playing with a torn rotator cuff. I have a torn rotator cuff that I need to get surgically fixed, and we just don't have the money to fix it. And it sucks because like I can't work out, like I can't push, like it's hard. So he's going to get it fixed. But remember, he signed a 2-year deal. He's owed $11 million next year. So I think next year, the way that it's going to end up being, our offensive tackle situation is it's going to be Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton, Max Mitchell, and insert another 4th or 5th round tackle, all competing for the starting 4 spots. And if I'm Elijah Vera Tucker, I would throw my name into that hat as well. I would go up to this coaching staff and this general manager staff to be able to say, you know what? I would like the opportunity to earn one of the tackle spots this offseason or this training period, because you get paid more money if you're a tackle. And so I would honestly, if I'm Elijah Vera Tucker, I would ask for that opportunity, and he's going to do it respectfully because Elijah Vera Tucker's a respectful person. Elijah Moore at 180 pounds won't last the 10 targets a game. Yeah, man. I get, yes, exactly. It's the same. It's the same reason why I think that Devonta Smith wasn't a good first-round pick, because I think he's got like 17 more games left in him in the NFL, because you can't be 98 pounds soaking wet with your pads on and the rest of the wide receiver room's pads on and expect to have a long, great career. It's hard. Danny, you did miss it. No, I'm kidding. You did, but my prediction was that this is going to ultimately be a low-scoring game. I predicted 13-3, New York winning over the Denver Broncos, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like 17 to like 7, 17 to 10. I just don't think either team breaks 20. This game, it's going to be a sprint to 20. Whoever gets the 20 points wins. Whoever gets the 20 points first wins. That's it. That's how this game is going to be. If you can score 20 points on either one of these defenses, you won the game. That's easy breezy. Brown is going to need surgery in the offseason. Yes, on his torn rotator cuff on his shoulder. Absolutely. Dwayne Brown is a mass dude. He's huge, but Dwayne Brown is what gives me faith in a guy like Mekhi Becton working. You can work at that size and that weight. You just got to keep the weight down. That's it, man. Hey, at least Pats fans have been nice this year compared to Miami fans. Every Pats fans I've met this year agrees to shake hands, to set our differences aside, to root for each other, to put Miami down. No, dude, I live in Florida. For those of you who don't know, I live in Florida. And obviously there's a lot of people from the Northeast in Florida. I proudly represent the New York Jets. I have a New York Jets rim on my license plate on my car. I wear my hoodies and my jerseys out all the time. I have a Zach Wilson is good shirt that I wear out all the time. And I'll say this, right? Every single Patriots fan I've ever met will stop me, have a conversation about me with the New York Jets. I will then have a conversation about the New England Patriots. And it's it's one of the best football conversations out there. They're great. They're respectful. It's awesome. And at the end, we shake hands. I'm not a big handshaker, but we shake hands and we say, I hope the New England Patriots lose. And he goes, I hope the New York Jets lose. We laugh it off and we move on. But the one thing that we can all agree on, screw the Fins. Fins fans are by far and away the worst fan base, second only to Philadelphia Eagles fans. They're horrible. Like my wife, my mom, my dad, they're all saying, oh, we should go to a Jets game. We should go to a Jets game. And they're like, oh, we should go to the Miami game at the end of the year. And I'm like, I don't think you guys understand, like, as Jets fans, like, Fins fans are the worst, man. They're the worst. And it's hard to be able to go to that game, especially because, like, if I went to that game, like, I have a 4-month-old. At that time, he'd be a 6-month-old. So it's hard to travel with a 6-month-old. But, like, it's hard for me to say, like, yeah, I'm going to feel 100% okay going to a Miami game. Like, you just hear too many horror stories of people getting beers thrown at them and all this stuff. And I'm just not trying to get into a fight, man. Richie from Jets Media video with those Dolphins fans was gold. Yeah, no, the round table that he does is hilarious. Hilarious. I'm in Florida as well. Look at that, man. Every day I wear my Jets hat in the gym. My leg days is my throwing bombs and banging moms hoodie. That's so good. I love it, man. Where'd you get that hoodie? I want to get that hoodie. Oh, I love it. I have the Jets at 13-6. Jets win. That's good. I love it. Finns fans are so insufferable, my lord, dude. They were all about how they were going to stomp the Jets, and then we won, and my favorite Pats friends were like, "Thank you," and was so happy. And the worst part, thank you, Danny. The worst part about all of that stuff is so many of those guys, were talking about like, oh yeah, you know what? Start the 7th round pick. He's better. Blah blah blah. Blah blah. And it's just like, dude, it ain't it. It ain't it. Like, just walk that back, my guy, because you're embarrassing yourself. Oh my God, and it's not that expensive. I might have to get this, throwing bombs and banging moms. Oh, I might have to get that hoodie. That is so good. Thank you so much, Danny, for telling me that. I was at the Miami game. Absolutely magical watching the Finn fans cry. Game's not even over, and they were blaming their third string QB. So you were at MetLife when that happened? I love it. I love it. Guys, oh wait, no. Guys, let me show you this hoodie. Hey, brace yourselves. It's about to get really bright. Okay, so brace yourself. How great is that hoodie? How good is this? Oh, this is so funny, man. I love this. This is hilarious. Let me clear this out. This is great. I want this. That's all. Thank you for showing me that. I didn't know that this existed. This is going on my things I should buy shirt list. Alrighty, guys. I have a mighty need. Alrighty, guys. We've been going for an hour and 7 minutes. There are 20 of you guys in here. Thank you so much for coming and stopping by and being here. Guys, we got so many subs today from this live stream. If you guys came from the Jets Chaos Show, I truly appreciate everyone who came by and stopped over. Guys, we've got 19 people in here right now. Never mind, we got 21 likes. Thank you, everybody who just hit the like button. It just updated for me. I appreciate all of you for being here. Guys, there is, like I mentioned, I am taking this, I have revolutionized the way that this channel is going to run. I promise you guys. I've got, like I mentioned before, and I'm going to mention it again, I've got notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks of ideas and things that we're going to do and that we're going to talk about on this channel, and new show ideas and new shorts and new stuff. So I'm telling you this right now. Expect from tomorrow moving forward, you will be getting at least 2 videos from me every day. And I'm going to try to keep them really short so that you don't have to sit through 9, 10, 12-minute videos every day. We're changing the content up a little bit. We're going to go a little bit shorter, and I'm going to give you just more content because I realized that's what YouTube wants. But I'm also creating, and you should not this week, but next week after the Patriots game, we're going to be doing a new podcast where it's just me. I might do it where I have like a segment with a guest on so that I can try to bring different people. We're going to do a podcast where we're going to be talking straight up Jets every week. So a lot of good stuff, guys. Thank you so much for coming over. Danny with the last couple of comments. The only takeover Miami did at MetLife was taking the night over the I-95 back home. Love it. Great live stream, bro. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Danny. Doing call-ins. Yes, that is in the works. Trust me. I've got a lot of the first things first is I've got to find a time to do the live streams because right now I just don't have a specific like live stream date. So I'm working on developing a day specifically for live streams. And then once we get the live stream going, I want to get call-ins going as well, because I think it's a lot better and a lot easier than having you guys only have like 150 or 200 characters, I'm sorry, to try to get your point across, than it is for us to just have like a 3-minute conversation. So that's it. Get on Green Bean and Jets Chaos Live tomorrow during the game. That is not up to me. That is up to them. That is the Green Bean show, and I have yet to be embraced by the Green Bean Jets channel. And I'm not saying that in like a disrespectful way. He is a much bigger YouTuber than I am, and he is awesome, and he is super respectful. But I'm not the type of guy to go ask to be on guys' channels that are bigger than me or anything like that. I'm the type of guy that's like, hey, if you want to, like, again, that's just not me. But yeah. Oh, never mind. That I will be. I probably will be in the chat at halftime. At halftime, I'll be in the chat. I can't watch them watch the game because they're delayed. I got to focus because I take notes for my videos, but I'll be in the chat. Look at Jay. He made a good point, and I took it. See, it's my ego. It's my ego. I got a way too big of an ego. No, I'm kidding. Good night, go Jets. After 6-2, we get the A team of the broadcast announcers. Absolutely, 100%. Gonna be a fun watch. These are my prime hours, so late streams are perfect for me. Awesome, dude. We'll see. Again, I got a 4-month-old that I gotta take care of every morning, so it's hard for me because, like, thankfully tomorrow's Sunday and my wife doesn't work, so she can take him in the morning. But like, if I do it during the week, I would have to be awake in like 5 hours to take care of him. And I love my son, and I want to give him the attention that he needs so that he grows up and loves me. And when he's a first-round pick, he doesn't ego the team that he does, like Elijah Moore is doing, or me, like Aaron Rodgers is doing. So, alrighty. I know. Dude, he's starting to crawl now. That's not a joke, man. He's rolling over at whim, right? But he's starting to crawl, like figure out how to crawl. He's putting his arms underneath him and kicking his legs, and he's moving. He's not crawling, but he's like worming. So he'll move a couple of centimeters every single time. It's crazy. I don't like it. He keeps growing. We've moved on. So we used to have like the little baby bottles. Now we've moved on to the big. I don't like it, man. He's growing right in front of my eyes. I don't like it. You know what? If the Jets win tomorrow, be on the live stream, the Buffalo Jet fan live stream. Because if we win tomorrow, between his naps, everybody, I'm gonna bring Ben. That's his name. I'm gonna bring him on the live stream, and everyone can see him in his little Jets getup. I love it when he wears it every Sunday. He wears it every Sunday. We bought it for him, and he's put it on. We have not lost a game, so he's gonna wear it every Sunday. Alrighty, Weed. I'll see you guys. Let's win. Let's watch and win together. Absolutely, Jay. Guys, thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thank you, everybody who hit the like button. Thank you, everybody who hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate every single one of you. Guys, this is Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo. And last but not least,